All right, there we go. Boom. All right, next slide, please. Look at that. We already took our picture. This is our picture from last week. You guys look wonderful. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. We already took our picture. This is our picture from last week. You guys look wonderful. I had an echo going there. Next slide. Next slide, Leslie. There we go. So for those of you that have cell phones, I'm sure everyone does, please go to your 1 Million Cups app and please check into 1 Million Cups Fairfax. The directions are on the screen. And someone asked me, why, Donnell, should we check into the app? I'm glad you asked. So what I need you to, the reason why is because we get credit for you being here. And with that credit comes two things. One is we get nice little swag that we can give away to our presenters. For those of you that want the swag that I have already presented, stop by Office Evolution and ask John to give you a coffee mug. I think we have a couple extra shirts. If you did really good, we'll give you a shirt. If you didn't do so good, we'll give you a mug. No, I'm just messing with you. All right, next slide. So 1 Million Cups is all about entrepreneurship, community, and education. It's important, that we share thoughts and ideas in a positive way here. And so we are grateful for the Kauffman Foundation for creating this platform. Next slide. So our mission, the mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connections for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. The Kauffman Foundation also has education for individuals that are entrepreneurs. If you signed into our 1 Million Cups platform, they take you to the education piece. So take advantage of that, and it's free. Next slide. Our key pillars. We do presentations, not pitches, authentic connections, not networking, and we're run for the community and by the community. When you see our next couple of slides, you'll see that our volunteers, but our culture, and this is very important, especially to our presenter and to our team here, is we want a safe and supportive environment. We already know that entrepreneurship is hard enough. We don't need to make it harder for the individual by telling them anything negative. Let's give them all positive information here. We're all about radical and intentional inclusivity. And 1 Million Cups is volunteer-led, and we're fueled by our presenter pipeline. Next slide. These are all the ways that you can connect with us. Facebook Live. You can also provide feedback in the chat. You can share this content online. In fact, it's on Facebook Live. And so you guys hear us asking for new presenters every week. The way that you can help us is if you share this from our Facebook page to different groups so they can see exactly what's going on, because they may be a little intimidated by this and really see how great we do. And then we also have an email that we send out. But we're all on all social media platforms. Please follow, like, and share us on all of those platforms. Next slide. And this is really cool. These are our volunteers, and this couldn't happen without, the team. And the reason why you see so many of us is because it takes a team of individuals to make this happen. And, life happens. And so not every last one of us could be here every week. And so we support each other in making this thing happen on a weekly basis. And we're grateful to all of our team members for being a part of this. So thank you, team. Next slide. Our brand ambassadors. So this is the cool part here, is our brand ambassadors are out there telling our story about 1 Million Cups, and they're also helping us get presenters. And if any of our brand ambassadors are on right now, in fact, Tony is on. Tony, can you give us a little update?
Oh, we're out there with Travis today. I met a few weeks ago, and he's here now presenting. And we're always out there spreading the word about 1 million cups and what an advantage it is to new and aspiring entrepreneurs. And I try to do my best John voice in order to convey that, because we all know his smooth, dulcet sounds can keep us going for hours.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Do we have
Not as good as the master, though.
do we have any of our other ambassadors on? I'm not able to see everyone.
Oh, John is jumping in. Well, no, that's John Partridge.
All right, next slide. So our sponsors so Office Evolution is our space sponsor. If you guys are looking for a space or a place where you can work your business, Office Evolution, we highly recommend the space there. It's affordable, it's elegant, and it's a great place to be. You could also get a mailbox, a professional mailbox, if nothing else, from Office Evolution. If you're interested, please reach out to John Yu, and he can help you. And I'm going to turn it over to Rosemarie.
I'm just going to ask John Yu if he wants to add anything to his Office Evolution before
Oh,
I.
he's here.
That's right.
Donnell did such a fantastic job. I have nothing else to say. Thanks, Don.
Awesome. So I am thrilled to be this month's presenting coffee sponsor, mostly because you're all doing your own coffee thing at home. Woo. At the Association for Enterprise Growth, we build communities of professional service advisors who support the mid-market and through a national ecosystem of these city-based communities, we're providing unprecedented growth opportunities for CEOs in those communities to build their businesses, exit on their own terms, and generate their own personal wealth. So if you are a professional service practitioner whose clients are in the mid-market, that's $2 million to $400 million a year in annual revenue, please let me know. I would love to speak with you. Back to you, Donnell.
Thank you, Vanna. No. Next slide. So how our virtual meetings work. Please, everyone, keep your microphone muted. If you want to ask questions, use the hand wave icon. The presenter will call on you. Please unmute your mic. Ask one question. If you have multiple questions, please wait a little while everyone else is able to speak, and then we'll pick you up on the next one, and then put your microphone back on mute. I don't think what I just said made any sense, but you guys know what I'm saying. All right, next slide. Now, without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Travis. I'm looking forward to this. I'm very interested in this anyway, because it's solar, that's the way of the world. And Travis, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. I'm feeling the same way. I'm excited about this, and I'm passionate about solar. That's why I got into this. A little bit of background on myself before we go to the next slide here. My challenge question is, I'm a recent engineering graduate from George Mason University, and I got into solar because I knew this is what I wanted to do, but my sister had a home. She wanted panels on her house, and she didn't know how to make that happen. So I started getting her set up with this, reached out to some installers, made the connections where I'm able to provide designs for these systems. And with those system designs, with the marketing of this material, I'm able to connect people with the panel installers and the people who can make this happen. So that's sort of how I got into this industry and how I fit into this picture. But if we go to the next slide, we'll be able to see my challenge question right now. So what I have is, my biggest question is, how can I overcome some of the presuppositions that people have already about solar? So a lot of times people will be, in this place where they've already made up their mind. If you go to the next slide, I expand on this a little bit. So it looks like there's basically, a lot of situations I find myself in, people don't necessarily understand where, how far this technology has come, or the way that it's changed over time, right? So my question will kind of be related to how can I influence, people in a way more effective way, because I came into this realizing that there's a huge opportunity for solar, for people to save money with this. And I thought I could just, I would show them numbers, and then all of a sudden people will believe exactly what I'm showing them, but that turned out not to be the case. So as time's gone on, I've had to kind of learn how to make that sale, and that's something I'm still working on, and that's something I would love to improve on. So if we go to the next slide, I will answer a little questions here. So the problems that we're solving, that my company, that Revida, is bringing to the table, is we're helping people can power their homes with solar. So we're connecting people to this opportunity that a lot of times they might not even know they have. But right now, for certain homes, for eligible homes and locations, there's an opportunity to immediately lower your monthly electric cost and own your own system. People think solar's going to have large upfront costs, return on investment time, and when really that's not the case anymore. Essentially, you can take money you were already going to spend on your electric and put that towards a solar system that will earn you thousands of dollars in tax credits, incentives, and just monthly savings on your price you're paying for power. So problem I'm solving is I'm finding a lot of people don't realize that there is an opportunity for solar, and it doesn't seem feasible in situations where it really is. And that's something that I've begin to get more and more involved with. But if we go to the next slide, background on the company is last year launched it up, just me, independent kind of solar broker design firm. Now I'm doing all the designs in-house. We're analyzing house, looking at the opportunity people have, and then I show folks how they can get set up with solar. So that's what I've been doing. That's what I'm doing right now. A lot of direct marketing. I'll go to a neighborhood that has one house with solar panels and talk to all the neighbors around there. Very much outreach sort of approach. And I would like to kind of move towards a space where I can bring people in instead of going out chasing for those people. So that's where I'm at right now and where I want to be. And if we go to the next slide, people that I'm working with right now, primarily working with homeowners, people who own their homes direct. That's going to be the vast majority of the business. If you want to get panels installed on your house, you need to own that place. And then the second circle there is for commercial applications. Just now starting to get into this, it's a much different sort of financial proposition. It's interesting space, and it's something that's only a small part of my business right now. And then this third option, the renters and other, that's something that's really exciting for me. And it might not seem at first like there's even any opportunity for folks who don't own a home, who have their power come from solar. But with some of these larger community solar projects, you can just buy in to have your power come from a local solar farm and still have that save you money. And so that's something I've been really fortunate to start getting involved with this year, and something I'm looking forward to continuing to grow in the future. And what makes us unique, right? What makes solar in general unique? There's nothing like this on the market, a product that it replaces a cost you have with something that, objectively the public has decided is better. We're trying to move this transition to clean energy. So you're getting an upgrade, and you're getting that at a lower cost than what you had already. And it almost sounds too good to be true. I think that's sometimes a problem I come across, where people are like, is it really going to save me this much money? I don't have to pay anything for it more than what I was already paying. And the way that works right now is, or we can get into that, but basically what I have right now that makes it me unique is because I'm doing the designs, because I'm working directly with and for people. I'm almost like a solar agent. Revida Solar, we're connecting people with local installers in their community, where if they go to a competitor or to a national solar brand, they will get connected to the same local solar installers. It's just going to be marked up at a different scale. So I'm able to give people the same value at a cost competitive rate. And so that's great if I'm competing. Most of the time, I'm actually competing with utility companies. I'm not really finding much competition with other solar quotes or other solar companies. I'm working with people who didn't necessarily know they wanted solar until they heard and saw what this opportunity was. So I'm back at my challenge question. This is really where I'm at right now, what I feel like I need to overcome. And I actually have, there's one more question. I think it's like the final question. And this is, you know, how can we differentiate our product from the traditional path that people are on? That's really the question that I have today. That's maybe a bit of a similar question to my overcoming presuppositions question. But as far as the general overview of what I'm doing and what we're doing here, I wanted to leave it at this and answer any other questions that you all may have.
Well, thank you, Travis. Let's give Travis a huge round of applause for one, being right out of the gate as an entrepreneur, brave, courageous, and I love it. Two, fascinating and high growth industry. So for folks who are familiar with 1 Million Cups, folks who are new, go ahead and drop your questions in chat. You can also use the reactions button to raise your hand. I see we already have a question from our resident and residential expert, Tom Shipe. Go ahead. Let's just make sure, I'm gonna make sure, there we go.
There we go. So Travis, it's taken me a long time to learn this, but remember this one single word which will solve your first question. The word is next. When you get it, move to the next. Just look down the street. How many households are there? You can't call them all. So just move to the next one. Understand your presentation.
Thank you. Yeah, that's true right there. I know that to be true for sure.
So Travis, one of the questions that was brought up, maybe you can go into this a little bit. What are some of the presuppositions or beliefs that people have about solar? Is it the cost one mainly, or are there other objections? Just give us a little more info before we chime in with thoughts.
Yeah, that's really, really great. I appreciate you asking that. So the biggest presupposition I have right now is that this is for people who are passionate about, the environment, and they're doing it for, maybe altruistic reasons, but it's way too expensive. I'm not going to see my return on investment for 5, 10, 20 years. And that's something that has been difficult to show unless people get it. Like it's almost like people are getting it or they don't get it. And then the other sort of presuppositions there are similar in that cost avenue, but I think that's the main one.
Okay, thank you. Ken Portnoy, go ahead.
So great presentation, Travis. Really straight on point, clear, direct, and I appreciate that, and we all, I think, appreciate that. I raised my hand because I think everybody else or many others here are going to be thinking similarly along these lines. You come out of an engineering background. You're about the numbers. You're about the figuring out the rational side of why people ought to be doing what you do. So one of the lessons to learn as you become more engaged with selling what you have is that people make decisions emotionally. They don't make decisions rationally. They make the decision emotionally, and this is the way our brains are wired. It's just the way that it is. And so you may be looking exactly for those people who are emotionally committed, or you may want to guilt trip people into being emotionally committed. Which side are you on? Are you for climate change? Are you ready to contribute your personal part to destroying the environment? Or would you rather be on the other side? Would you rather be a contributor to the solution? Oh, I'd rather be a contributor to the solution. So it's getting to that emotional side. Now, I'm not suggesting that that's a great pitch. I'm just trying to demonstrate the different feeling of talking with people that way. So so my point is, people make decisions emotionally, and it's going to be a challenge for someone who's really tied up in the numbers to step over to the other side, step over to the dark side where the emotions are.
I appreciate that. That's definitely good insight.
Ken, I don't know if I'm inspired or terrified by your commentary, but I appreciate it either way. But thank you.
Well, yeah, but if you're terrified and ready to go out and buy some solar panels for your house, I'm getting there.
Yes, if that were what I was terrified of. Yes, absolutely. But great point. I appreciate that. Tony Barnett, you are next. Go ahead, please.
Okay, Travis, since the day we met, I've had this question on my mind. When is it the optimal time to install panels? And what I mean by that is this. Do you install panels when you are looking to sell the house and you want to increase its value to potential buyers? Or is it the optimal time after you've purchased it and you want to lower the utility cost by doing an upgrade on the house after purchase? Because a lot of people in the construction industry, they either renovate the house before the sale or they renovate the house after the sale. And that's when they have the available money and interest to sit there and do a project because they're getting ready to, or they've just bought. Have you looked into that and found out when's the optimal time to do that?
Yeah, I love that question. And the answer is really that it depends. I've worked with a lot of people in just this past year, and the majority of them are looking at getting solar because they are going to be in their home for the next 10, 15, 20 years, and they want to see those savings build over time. But I did just have a couple of people in July who are planning to sell their house next year, and they want to get installed this year, today, before they move, because they realize they can, there's an opportunity there as well. So in my belief, as long as you're going to be in your home for the next 6 to 8 months, that period of time where it might take to get you installed with a permitting process, that's the best time to get solar. Yesterday is the best time, today's the next best time, no matter the situation, is my personal belief. In fact, it's probably going to save you a little bit more money if you do it on this house. But take advantage of the tax credits that are coming in. You're going to have a net profit anywhere $10,000 to $15,000, and then go put it on your next house, that you're going to stay in for the next 10, 15 years and get those long-term savings. So in the mind of most of the people I work with, that's another maybe presupposition that it's only going to make sense if I'm here for a long time. And really, as long as you're here, for that whole process, I can't get you set up. I can't guarantee you'll have it in the next month. It takes a long time. There is a turnaround time to kind of do all the work that's required, even though the install is just a day. But to get it all up and running, that's sort of the minimum time frame that I would say is needed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just a reminder, let's make sure we keep our questions and answers concise. Not that I'm judging anybody who's already spoken, but we want to get the most value for Travis because we love having him here. Jennifer Ruse.
Hello, Travis. Great program and presentation. I have a few observations, and I'll put everything in the chat for brevity's sake. One, you're a Mason alum. Are you familiar with the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship that's in the School of Business? You're an engineer. But the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, they do a lot of work to help alumni entrepreneurs. So I'll put a link to their page in the chat. Secondly, a lot of municipalities are offering those tax incentives and breaks and programs. Are you trying to work with any of those? I know here in the city of Fairfax, they've had a program in place. Perhaps those offices of sustainability might be able to put you on a list. So there's that hot leads, people who are interested, they can be like, oh, well, let's go check out this company. And then I had a third one and it just went right out of my head, but I'll remember it and I'll drop it in the chat. I've only had 1 cup of coffee. Great job, my friend.
Yeah, Jennifer, that's a really great opportunity you bring up. The municipalities, referring people over. I think that's something that I haven't looked into much at all. I know that there are some local benefits, for example, the added property value is tax exempt in Fairfax County. So that's maybe a perk they have that is open to everybody, but I like what you said about, getting those hot leads. That's what I definitely want to grow. And then touching on the George Mason, I'm not familiar with that program. So I do appreciate you bringing it up.
I feel like George Mason's buy all their solar from an alum, but that's just me. John Norse.
Hey, Travis, congrats on being a young entrepreneur. It's a heck of a good ride. So good luck to you. Your situation, I think, is I understand there's suppositions, but I also think that sadly there's just a pure hardcore economic. And I'll just make a parallel. I mean, somebody wants an electric car, you have to pay $500 a month payment, $1,000 a month payment to save your gas bill, which may be a few $100s. So your net cash flow to your budget is still negative. And I think with the cost of solar, at least what I know is just like electric cars, for many people, it's just priced out of their budget today. It's not that they don't believe in your mission. I think the challenge is, it seems to me, it's an economic. It's, I don't know the exact price, but I've seen numbers thrown around for your industry, and it's not cheap. And while you're showing things that I might save $50 in the first month or $100 in the next month, again, if I'm making a $500 payment, to have those solar panels, I just think that that's a hard, for some people to make that debt move.
I love that I love this question. And what you're saying is exactly what I'm referring to in terms of the way that this works, because that is the belief that I'm going to save $100 on my electric bill, but I'm going to be making $200 solar payment. It doesn't make sense. When in reality, the situation is right now, and with the vast majority of people I've worked with, every home I've set up, they've had a situation where their cost for solar is less than the savings they're receiving, in terms of their electric bill savings and incentives. And what that is, it's an immediate day one positive cash flow. And again, like, that's not how it used to be in Virginia up until 2020. That was never the case. So it's a brand new opportunity for people, and a lot of it comes down to the way that the financing structure is set up, where the total system cost is spread out over a longer term, and if you move, that passes along to the new homeowner. There are some different kind of like opportunities, and there's details that go into this that do make this a very unique situation. And because again, also technology has come a long way. In the past 5-10 years, the cost has dropped 80%. So you're able to get more bang for your buck, so to speak. And Virginia just set up the Clean Energy Economy Act, which is putting us on track for 100% renewable by 2050. And that's bringing in additional cash flow in terms of incentives that are open for people in Virginia. So there's a lot of things that have changed. And again, it's everybody's seeing those costs that solar doesn't make sense on a monthly, basis, or, a long-term return on investment that's just not there anymore. And that's really the challenge I'm trying to overcome.
Hey, just so everybody knows, I'm not a plant. That wasn't a loaded question.
But that was perfect. I loved it.
We know you come here and ask brilliant questions, purely subjective. I'm just kidding. I mean, objective. No, John, you're fantastic. Great entrepreneur. Travis, you should definitely connect with John for even more insights. Tess, go ahead.
Morning, Travis. I am all about community collaborations for possible lead generations or just getting connected. Would it be a good thing for you to possibly get maybe have some kind of collaborative partnership with either builders, designers, or even maybe real estate agents, just so that you've gotten in with a target audience?
Yes, I love that. And I want to keep building that. And I think the best way to do that is putting myself in situations like this and just expanding my network, because I even saw a question, I think, pop up in chat, roofing partners. And I have been trying to build that and I do continue to build that. I have right now 2-3 different roofing companies that any of their questions, anything with solar is passed along to me. I'll get a call, and it's a roofing salesman sitting down with somebody who's interested in solar, answer questions back and forth. And so I love that opportunity. I think that's a great way to get hot leads coming in, and I want to continue to build it. But yeah, that's sort of my answer there.
Great question. Thank you. Carolyn.
Hi, Travis. Thank you for your presentation. It was very exciting. And I was thinking about all of the potential that could come from this. One of my questions is, have you considered or have you gotten testimonials from people that you have already worked with and maybe use them as referrals to get to other people? Because homeowners know other homeowners. And that's a easy avenue, especially if they have a positive testimonial and they can show, they will definitely tell their friends. So have you considered that? Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I do appreciate that question. I want to do that more. I have some of that, just not very much, because when I first started in this, started at the website, kind of building back end at the middle towards the end of last year. But I didn't have any sales or anything until the very start of this year. And so with the 5-6 month turnaround time, I've only got a couple of people who have gone through the whole process, start to finish, and actually been installed. Even though there's a bunch in the pipeline, lots of projects that are coming along the way. But because of the nature, like the timeline here, it's taken me much longer than I would have liked to get those referrals coming in. But I did just get the first couple of referrals this past month. And it's been amazing. That's my favorite way to get this so far. So I love that.
Awesome. Thank you.
And Shira, please go ahead.
Hi, good morning, Travis. This is great. Thank you for your time. This is a terrific presentation. So couple of thoughts for you. Number one, are you familiar with the trade association by the name of SEIA, Solar Energy Industry Association? Has that come
Yes,
across?
I've been on their website a bunch.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Yeah. So you already know who they are. And look, it might be cost prohibitive for you. I'm not sure because they are a national group, but I will tell you that this, of course, is an association whose members are you and, of course, bigger companies. And this is what they deal with all the time. So as a resource for you in terms of getting thought leadership, in terms of getting best practices, highly recommend that you pursue them on some level. So that's one thing. Speaking of thought leadership, that's my second point around kind of getting out there in the community. So have you considered blogging? Have you considered, social posts? Have you considered actually creating some content, educational content for your prospects that speak to the value of what you're providing? So you're not selling, right? But you're providing educational ideas, right? You're saying, did you know? Right. And these are ways that that you can benefit from solar and all the things. It's like real estate agents will often do that. Hey, here's how to lower your costs. Here's how to, get your home to be sold better, all those things. A lot of companies will do that. I mean, I myself, right. I'm in the career coaching, small business coaching, recruiting world. And I used to have a newsletter and, say, hey, salary negotiations or interview tips or things that I'm just giving away content. Right. So just a resource for you. So I happen to run a volunteer community service organization called BoomerWorks. Our mission is to empower professionals age 50 plus to re-career into self-employment. I know you're not 50 plus, but you can still benefit from our stuff. And I'm going to put in the chat our website because we have a training center. And in that training center, we have a marketing field. And we have 2 different videos from a guy named John D'Annunzio. I'm not sure if John's ever been on this call, but he's on another networking call that some of us are on. Anyway, he gave 2 presentations on digital content marketing, specifically the 101, 201 of how to do it and how to think about how to write content and that kind of thing. So I'm going to put the link in the chat for you if you want to avail yourself of ways to do that. Is that something you've ever thought about in terms of posting and stuff?
Oh my gosh, I'd love to do that more. I would love to really get into that more. I have all my social media accounts just parked with no content. And I think that's a, opportunity that will be huge.
Yeah. So this link I'm putting in here, if you look down it, there's a whole bunch of videos. Go about halfway down the page and you'll see there's what we call digital content marketing 101 and 201. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So Travis, just a question from chat. Do you only do solar panels on roofs? And when does it become cost effective or possible for a homeowner, if they have a larger piece of property, to do like a solar farm or something like that, where they have panels across the roof? Or do you need permits? Like, is that different?
No, not every roof is really good for solar. A lot of people will prefer to do a ground mount. And with the install partners I have, I can definitely get that set up for anybody who's interested. It doesn't always make sense just because if you already have a structure that's perfectly oriented, you want to use that. But some situations you may want to do a ground mount. And as far as a solar farm, though, you really are only able in Virginia to produce what you need for your home. It's not going to really be cost effective to start selling energy back extra.
Great insight. And back to Tony.
Okay, I will be quick. And great presentation, Travis, today. You're getting lots of good information. Target the people who are either in the process of looking to do a new roof or who have just gotten a new roof. Because I know a lot of people who are considering this now, but they're putting in the back burner because they're not going to be changing the roof for 5 to 10 years because their roofs are not that old yet. And they don't want to sit there and invest in putting a new solar system on their roof when they know it's going to be torn out to put a new roof in 5 to 10 years.
Right.
You probably already know that, but focus literally and try and get partners in the roofing industry and other places to get those people in that little niche, and that can keep you busy for a long time.
Love it. Thank you, Tony.
I think one of the roofing partners, I don't know if you work with them or not, but Exterior Medics, they do a lot of work with HOAs. So any companies or roofing companies that work with HOAs would be great partners. Rosemary.
Thank you. Hey, Travis, great presentation. Loved hearing not just about your business, but your enthusiasm for it. I'm going to piggyback on something that Jennifer Rose put in the chat. When you're in sales, which frankly we all are, there are basically 3 or 4 items that motivate people to make a decision. And I think if you want to really not knowing who you're talking to, but making sure that you grab them, you want to address like in one sentence. And those, and I'll put them in the chat too, but those are, what are the financial elements, right? So it pays for itself in X amount of time, right? Because you're not paying your standard bills. I think you have that one, but making it very crisp. Another one is the benefits to the ecological environment. This is very important for a lot of people. It will, to John's point earlier, people spend extra money every month on an electric car just so that they can deal with the carbon emissions issues of their current car. It's not financially a benefit, but it is ecologically a benefit, and that's more important to them. There is affiliation benefits. So people feel good about being affiliated with this concept above and beyond all the other elements. So if you have a nice crisp phrase that you can fold in for that. And then there's also, I think it's social, but it's also social positioning. Some people like to be thought of as leaders in the charge to go green. Some people like to be thought as part of helping things to get going. Some people want to help young entrepreneurs, you know, so there's all those elements. So when you start to think about crafting your messaging, and there's lots of folks here that can help you, really hit those top 3 or 4 things that people need to have. Because the one thing we've all learned is that people decide with their heart when they make a decision, but then they justify it with their brain. So they need both of those parts in the messaging. And then I'll just close with some thoughts about other partnerships. In addition to roofers, contractors, realtors are really important, especially buy-side realtors, because they refer to new homeowners, good, I'll say contractors, but people that can help them do things to their homes that they want to do. And when someone buys a home, that's when they're pretty much most open to putting more money in to do it the way they want. So I'll put all that in the chat, but those are some thoughts for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Mr. Dulcet Tones, John Rutenberger. Go ahead, John Rutenberg.
Hey, gang. So, Travis, thank you so much for presenting today, and so much luck to you. You're going to do fantastic. Couple things. First, for every objection, write down on a 3x5 card how you overcome it. And that becomes a direct mail campaign to that community of houses where you just saw the first solar panel installation go up. And so math is part of it, emotion is part of it. And if you created 10 flip cards, isn't that what it's called when you study and you do math tables? 3 times 2 equals? Right. Those 10 objections can be turned into great stories. And you can preempt the objection by explaining it in advance. The second point is to shift a little bit. You know, if you got a shopping center or a supermarket or an office building or a multifamily tenanted apartment building where the utilities are not metered by unit, but the landlord is paying the piper, even if it's reflected in a rent, the ability to save those hard dollars to that owner operator of a multifamily apartment, if you can increase the net income of an apartment building 2%, the yield to the investor is significantly greater. So I would very seriously consider strategically expanding the commercial and looking at the shopping centers. The supermarkets use energy intensively and have big flat roofs. Just as a market, which I don't know about the competition on the commercial side, but on the residential side, I imagine it's fierce.
Yeah, John, that's a market I'm wanting to break into more than anything. I don't know exactly how, but I definitely want to do that, and I'm looking to find any resources I can. Shopping centers and parking lots. That's been on my mind since day one, since before day one. Like there's no examples of that, you know, really on a local scale. There's some very, very, very limited use cases where that's been put up, maybe like a Walmart or something like that. But that's something I definitely want to break into more.
And I might consider looking at something like talking with Fairfax County EDA, Fairfax City EDA, and seeing if there are county or citywide efforts, property owners, commercial realtors, because a lot of the companies in our market are looking for ways to be perceived better. And having, you know, if you're a really wealthy law firm and a big office downtown, having solar would give you something to talk about from an ESG standpoint and be environmentally friendly. So there's lots of potential marketing value, but yes, finding the right commercial realtor, property manager, building owner would be a huge deal. Happy to make some introductions on that side. We're going to do Shira one last question and then Donnell to wrap us up.
So Travis, going back to the networking thing, I want to piggyback off of what Rosemary suggested in terms of the residential realtor market. Are you familiar with BNI, Business Networking International? And most of us would be. Are you familiar?
Yes, that's actually how I got connected.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, are you a member of a chapter?
Not yet.
Okay, great. Well, it's just, I mean, so just to kind of double emphasize here, BNI is actually a fantastic group for people who are in the kind of homeowner space, right? Realtors, mortgage brokers, those kinds of folks, and they tend to kind of, you know, pass business along to each other because a lot of them deal with homeowners. So just want to underscore that for you. And the other thing is, are you familiar with the National Association of Realtors?
Very, very tangentially.
Okay, so it's a huge association for realtors. They have chapters all over the country. One of them is NVAR, the Northern Virginia Realtors, and I'm putting that in the chat right now so that you can check them out, because you know, to go and network with the folks who need to know about your product. So those are my two tips.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, thank you so much for the support and love for Travis and the great questions and insights. I think they probably provided input and insight for a lot of us on the call to think about as we are all running our business and all learning along the way. Travis, again, great job. Very excited for you and what's to come. Donnell, I'm going to turn it back over to you to ask the last question, and if we can go to the next slide. Or maybe not quite the next slide. Go ahead, Donnell.
Travis, first of all, fantastic job of asking your question. I thought it was a great question and poignant in what you're looking for. And then I commend you for seeing a hole in what's going on in the world right now. I mean, a lot of people, you know, are trying to figure out, you know, how are they going to save money with gas prices going up and all of that type of stuff. So I commend you on that. But my question to you is what can our 1 Million Cups community do for you?
Great question, and I should have seen it coming. But I think what you all can do for me is exactly kind of what I've been talking about all this time. I need the connections more than anything right now, and whether it's connections to just anybody you know who's even thought about solar before, or they say, "Wow, I got a lot of sun on my roof." Like just those direct connections that would be amazing. And then on top of that, the networking kind of connections, the relationships with roofers, realtors, building relationships, I think is going to be the most important thing that I can do right now. And I've got some great links in here, some people to reach out to already with, respect to the marketing and online side of things I want to grow as well. So that would be my answer to that question. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today. As it is, this has been amazing.
Travis, can you put your contact information so we can in the chat so we can reach out to you?
Certainly. Thank you.
All right, next slide. So next week we have the Economic Impact Catalyst will be our presenter. We're looking forward to that. That ought to be absolutely fantastic. Next slide. All right, so we have some vacancies coming up in, we have some in August and then some in September. If you enjoyed the feedback that Travis just received, put your name in the hat and also refer other small business owners to put their name in the hat to be presenters. And I heard someone just ask me, well, Donnell, how do I become a presenter? I'm glad you asked. If you go to 1millioncups.com/Fairfax and put your application in, we will make sure that number one, you get one of these dates. Number two, we help you with your presentation to make sure that you sounded as good as Travis did. And number three, you will enjoy the feedback that you get back from this group. So next slide. All right, I'm gonna hand it over to Jennifer Rose to give us some updates on what they have going on this week.
Hello, friends. It's a little slow, mostly because I'm out of town a lot this month, moving kids into college and conferences and all kinds of stuff. But tonight, that's right, tonight in just a few short hours, we have our August business after hours at the new Papatella in the Mosaic District. It's a fantastic pizza joint. Can't wait to get some pizza tonight. Starts at 5:30. Love to have you there. I was just working on name tags. We got almost 30 people coming. So why don't y'all, a few of y'all put me over the top for that.
You got more. You got more coming. They just haven't. They haven't committed yet. I've got about 5 or 6 more coming. So it's gonna be a good crowd.
Thanks, Tony. And then we've got some great other things on the events page that some of our partners have going on. You can see them on the slide. I'm happy to be joining you guys this week. It's been a while.
It is so good to see you and thank you for being here. Karen, do you have anything from the EDA that you want to share?
I know some of the events on here are from Fairfax County EDA, like the competitive analysis. They're at least linking to that. It's being put on by the SBDC, but I'll put a link to the Fairfax County EDA events because they have a lot of amazing events coming up.
All right. And last but not least, I'm hosting every weekend. We host a veteran business pop-up shop in Woodbridge, Virginia. All of our vendors are veterans or military spouse or military connected. So come out and support and shop. In addition to that, if you know of any veteran or military spouse small businesses that want to get in front of customers, let us know. I just put in the chat the link to the location and the address. It's not in here, but it's 15001 Potomac Town Place, and I'll put the address in there. And then on the 25th of, the date is actually wrong in here, but we'll fix it. On the 25th of August, we're having a Veterans Connect networking event, and you don't have to be a veteran in order to show up. However, if you want to connect with veterans, then show up to the location, and the address is below. So hope to see everybody there. Next slide. All right. If you're interested in being an organizer, we have an amazing team of organizers. It's a small period of time that you have to really put in We have a half an hour call every Monday morning, talking about our roles and what we're going to do. But it's very rewarding because we get to work with guys like Travis and other individuals. So if you're interested in that, please let us know. Either reach out to me or one of the other organizers and say, hey, I would love to do it, and put your name in the hat. We also have, if you want to be a ambassador as well, let us know. Last but not least, thank you for being here. This is the highlight of my week because I get to come together with other entrepreneurs to share ideas and information and to hear some great feedback. And even though it may not be in your industry, you may learn something from the presentation. So that's all we have. Oh, last but not least, the Kauffman Foundation. This is powered by the Kauffman Foundation, a great organization out of Kansas. They provide great educational resources and information. So if you're looking at or needing some educational resources that are free, Google the Kauffman Foundation. That's it. Thank you very much. And let me log us out of Facebook.